FanDuel has the New York Jets as a 6.5-point favorite against the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football to kick off Week 3 of the National Football League season. It's only the second time since 2002 that New York is favored over New England. The Patriots 15-1 straight up in the last 16 head-to-head meetings. Don't forget, you can see the game on TSN, and after the game is over, join myself and Luke Willson. We follow every primetime NFL game this season. And here's the man himself from Luke Willson World Headquarters somewhere in Southern Ontario. It's Luke Willson for Luke Who's Talking. And I know you were very high on your boy Aaron Rodgers going into the season. They're 1-1. How are you feeling about him 2 games in?
You know, I feel pretty good still, Jay. Do I think that he's arrived, this year? No. But what I do like is the plays that have been successful, especially in the second half of the Titans game. You can see he's getting a little more comfortable. And beyond all that, football, in my opinion, is the hardest game to play if you're not having fun. It's physical, it's grueling, all the above. And if you don't enjoy it, it's just a difficult game to play. And you kind of see the vintage Aaron Rodgers smirk coming back a little more consistently.
Yep.
And I think he's going to continue to grow here, Jay. And one of the plays that I thought was, great for him after I kind of broke it down the film was the touchdown pass to Breece Hall. He's calling those routes at the line of scrimmage. And that's where I think Aaron is his best, when he can come out there and say, okay, I can read this defense. Clearly he feels comfortable back there, can process the game. Breece run a fly route. He gives a couple stick routes to the left and an outside release just to take defenders out of the way, flips his hips, throws a great ball. Breece makes a great catch. And then, of course, later on, you see the Garrett Wilson third down conversion, which was also a tremendous throw and catch. It's those things where as this year progresses and he gets more comfortable with those guys and other guys, I think that Aaron's going to have a very, very good year.
We thought the Baltimore Ravens were going to have a very, very good year, and they still might. They still might, but it's not started so great. They're 0-2. It might be worse for the Dallas Cowboys, who started with a Week 1 victory and then just got stomped by the Saints in Week 2 this season. Out of those 2 teams who definitely have Super Bowl aspirations, Dallas and Baltimore, which of those 2 teams do you feel, Luke, should be more desperate at this point?
I don't know if desperate is the word I would use for either one, but I definitely think that the Cowboys are going into film on edge, let's put it. And there's probably a small bit of fear within the staff. Let's go back to the Ravens. Yes, they're 0-2. Week 1, they play the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, that's a tough matchup for anybody. Last week, it's a game they were up 10 points in the fourth quarter. They let it slip through their fingers. But if you really break down that film, a lot of that is, details, small mistakes, and just kind of football things that Baltimore should be better at, but easily correctable. The Dallas Cowboys run defense, Jay, was an abomination. And again, I like to, compare this to baseball in the sense of if somebody finds out you can't hit the curveball, every pitcher throws you the curveball till you prove you can hit it. And now you look at this Cowboys defense and you look at how the Saints ran all over them. You know that week in and week out, every single team is going to mirror or mimic some form of the Saints run game, which, by the way, was not complex, and go after you that way. And in this league, when you're giving up, 100, 150, 190 like last week on the ground,
yeah,
it is wildly hard to win. So I think right now the Cowboys are definitely sitting there going back to the drawing board saying we need to stop this right now.
Luke, if I told you at the start of the season that after 2 weeks there would be 4 2-0 teams in the NFC, you probably would have said, okay, that tracks. If I'd have told you those teams were the Vikings, Saints, Bucks, and Seahawks, you probably would have said I was out of my mind. But here we are. Those are the 4 teams in the NFC that are 2-0. Out of those teams, which team do you think actually deserves that record? Which one do you actually believe in?
Jay, it is crazy when you say that because those 4 teams were definitely not on my bingo card to be 2-0 in the NFC. But if you look at these teams, to me, which might surprise some people, but the one team that I actually believe in is the Minnesota Vikings. And the reason I say that is even dating back to last year, when Brian Flores, their defensive coordinator, showed up, he really got this defense playing well. And after 2 weeks, they're clearly playing extremely well. Week 1, it's hard to judge because they played the New York Giants. And as we all know, the New York Giants are simply not a good football team. But then they followed that up by holding the San Francisco 49ers to 17 points. And that is not an offense that is easy to hold to 17 points. And they were pretty much all hands on deck, but I thought that they played very well against that Niners offense. And you go to the other side of the ball. They draft J.J. McCarthy. You think he's going to be the rookie, hopefully grow him and have those growing pains. He gets hurt, and Sam Darnold has come in and through 2 weeks done a tremendous job. Yeah. I thought he's, thrown the ball very well. He's obviously got good chemistry with Justin Jefferson. But what I also like about this offense is the running game that's led by Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler also looks great. Well over 100 yards both weeks. And now all of a sudden you look at how this team's made up, and I say to myself, well, they play great defense. They have a very, very solid running game with 2 good backs. Aaron Jones is also a great back to receive the ball out of the backfield. You've got who I think is the best receiver in football in Justin Jefferson. And you've got Sam Darnold, who's playing at a high level right now. And the next thing I'll say about that is Kevin O'Connell there has been able to take Nick Mullins and make him look like a pretty good quarterback. The Pastronaut, we had a lot of fun talking about him last year. You've got a kid in Sam Darnold who is a high draft pick, has a lot of ability, and is clearly feeling very comfortable in this system. So, yeah, I do think that the Minnesota Vikings are a very, very good football team. They deserve to be 2-0, and I think they're going to win a lot of ball games.
And I love that you brought up Brian Flores. I thought he got a raw deal in Miami a couple of years ago. I love that he's getting recognition for what he's doing with that defense, and maybe he'll find his way back as a head coach sometime soon. This guy was sensational this week. At home, in a suit, in between episodes of Mad Men. It's Luke Willson. You're going to see him after the Thursday Nighter. We're going to be talking about his boy, Aaron. And we're going to be talking about the New England Patriots. So we will chat with you after the Thursday Nighter. Thanks, buddy.
Can't wait.